Hi detectives, I'm Detective Louie and welcome to our YouTube channel. As you've read in the title below, in this video we will talk about Ian Stewart's Nature's Number, Chapter 7, The Rhythm of Life. Nature is nothing if not rhythmic, and its rhythms are many and varied. It tells us that mathematics in nature constructs different rhythm in some attributes, our heartbeat, our breathing, and even the way we walk. These are some examples that possesses rhythm that Muybridge found it. Consequently, this leads him to the conclusion that mathematics is both art and science. In this video, we will tackle 4 fundamental matters in understanding the rhythm of life: Gates analysis, oscillation concept, Hopf bifurcation, symmetry breaking theory, or animals and synchronization. To learn deeper about our topic, we would need some help. I would like to introduce to you guys my fellow detectives.
I'm Jodicel Erin P. Omnas.
Jola Kapay sa Buhat.
Hi! I'm Abigail Sheen.
I am Trisha May Sabala.
I am Francine Marel A. Miras.
Hi, I am April Trade Lunar.
Denzel Andrea M. Tenorio.
I am Melvin Piracelis.
I am Daisy Lynn Carayos.
I am Lilibet Mercader.
Hi! And I am Aleja Micaela R. Bombay.
Thanks guys! These people will help us embellish the concept and appreciate Chapter 7, The Rhythm of Life. So, without further ado, let's investigate, detectives.
Hi guys! Come on, let's begin now. Let us start with the first concept of this chapter, the Gates analysis. But before we proceed, do you have any idea what is Gates analysis? Okay, let me explain it to all of you. According to the book of Ian Stewart's Nature's Number on page 94, the Gates analysis is a branch of mathematical biology that grew up around the questions how do animals move and why do they move like that. To make it short, this chapter is entirely about mathematics, which helps us to understand the concept of locomotion not only in animals but also in people, just like the way we walk. So here is our example. But before we proceed to that, let me call on my partner, Miss Sabala, to further explain every bit of this chapter.
Are you guys ready to know more about this interesting concept? Okay, so now let's find the answer for these questions. How do animals move and why do they move like that? It started with Edward Muybridge, who pioneered this scientific study when he captured the sequence of the horse's gallop at a particular movement. A horse is a good example for this concept because it became more interesting and fun to learn since horses possesses different kinds of gait. At low speed, the horses walk. At a medium speed, it trots. And then at high speed, it gallops.
Oscillation, the second concept of Chapter 7, The Rhythm of Life of Nature's Number by Ian Stewart. So, what is oscillation? Oscillation is an organizing principle behind many biological circuits in mathematics, a unit whose natural dynamic causes it to repeat the same patterns or series of behavior over and over again. It is a movement back and forth at a regular speed. An example of this is spring toy. When the spring toy is stretched and released, it tends to move back and forth repeatedly. The second example is a swing. A swing is one of the prominent examples of oscillatory motion. In real life, when a push force is applied to the swing, the equilibrium gets disrupted, and the swing gets displaced in a direction.
Thank you, Lilibet, for a good introduction of oscillation concept. But why do systems oscillate at all? Let us find out. Biology hooks together a huge circuits of oscillators, which interact with each other to create complex patterns of behavior. Page 95 answers that this is the simplest thing you can do if you don't want or are not allowed to remain still. This is the reason why a caged dog paces up and down or jumping its motion results from a combination of two constraints. The dog is free to follow an irregular path around the cage, but the only thing that the dog can do when it have to move but can't escape is to oscillate, because there is nothing that forces the oscillation to repeat a regular rhythm. Do you know that there is an oscillation that vibrates? We can call it a mechanical oscillation. A particle being vibrated means it oscillates between 2 points about its central point. A number of string musical instruments, like guitar, display the oscillatory or vibratory motion in real life. This is because when the string of guitar is pulled or pushed, it gets displaced from its original position and covers an equal magnitude of distance on either side of the rest position.
So, for you to know further about the other solid concept of this chapter, let me explain to you the Hope bifurcation. In the book of Ian Stewart, page 95, in 1942, the German mathematician Eberhard Hope found a general mathematical condition where he proved that if the simplified system wobbles, then also the original system. On the other hand, bifurcation is the term used to describe the mental state of what is happening in the surrounding and eventually grows out to its original form. One of the great examples of the Hope bifurcation is the ripple, in which it originally starts from the center and the movements get bigger. According to the physical interpretation of this mental image, the oscillations are initially very small and gradually grow in size.
Another example of half bifurcation is the clarinet. Are you wondering why and how the clarinet is considered as half? Let me explain to you something. When the clarinet is blown slowly, it creates a soft sound. And on the other hand, if it's blown loudly, it will produce a louder sound. The important thing is that the musician does not have to blow in an oscillatory way, that is, in a rapid series of short taps, to make the reed oscillate.
So, let's now talk about symmetry breaking theory. Did you know that the faster the animal moves, the less symmetry its gait has, and the more speed breaks, the more symmetry? In physics, symmetry breaking is a phenomenon in which small fluctuations acting on a system crossing a critical point decide the system's fate by determining which brand of bifurcation is taken.
On page 102 of the chapter it mentioned, the symmetric breaking theory explains how animals can change gait without having a vertex.
Take a dog for example. A dog only has one gait rhythmic default pattern for moving their limbs. They can walk normally, but when they want to move faster, they amble and their leg movement patterns are the same.
Another notable example is a six-legged insect. Imagine a cockroach crawling in which its center legs on one side move in phase with its front and back legs on the opposite sides and the remaining three legs move together. The big message in both locomotion and synchronization is that nature rhythms are often linked to symmetry, and that the patterns that occur can be classified mathematically by invoking the general principles of symmetric breakings. The principle of symmetric breakings do not answer every question about the natural world.
Recap of Ian Stewart, Nature's Numbers, Chapter 7, The Rhythm of Life. This chapter consists of 4 significant concepts which are gait analysis, oscillation concept, half bifurcation and symmetry breaking of animals, and synchronization. To simplify, gait analysis is a branch of mathematical biology that revolves around the questions, how do animals move and why do they move like that? The second one is the oscillation concept. Oscillation is an organizing principle behind many biological cycles in mathematics. A unit whose natural dynamic causes it to repeat the same patterns or series of behavior over and over again. Bifurcation. Bifurcation is a term used to describe the mental state of what is happening in the surroundings and eventually grow out from its original form. For the last concept, symmetry begins of animals in synchronization. It explains how animals can change gait without having a gearbox. In summary, the nature of oscillation and half bifurcation leads into discussion of how animals, precisely animals with legs, move, which is by the staggered or syncopated oscillations. Oscillations of animals triggered by neural circuit in the brain.
The lesson message is that mathematics can illuminate many aspects of nature that we do normally think as the rhythm of life is being mathematical.
This is a message that goes back to the Scottish zoologist Darcy Thompson, whose classic but maybrick book On Growth and Form set out in 1917, in an age when most biologists seem to think that the only interesting thing about an animal is its DNA sequence. It is a message that needs to be repeated loudly and often.
Everything in the universe is organized in pattern. It is difficult to avoid seeing patterns of shape and patterns of movement, since they are so common in the physical world and daily living. All of the patterns in our environment have both visual appeal and practical use.
Indeed, mathematics in nature produces the rhythm of life, and mathematics help us understand the world, and in return, we use the world to understand mathematics.
We highly encourage you to share the knowledge you have gained in our discussion.